Just need that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the 99th PGA Championship from Quail Hollow Club. Pleased to be joined by Jason Day, 2015 PGA champion, who posted his second round 66 today and is currently alone in third place, 6 under par, 136. Jason, maybe just your initial thoughts on the day as it was. What comes to mind when you think about round two?
I was actually quite surprised once we got delayed. I was actually surprised with how late it was. It took us forever to play the front side. The greens were firm and fast at the same. It's really hard with how the pace of play is out there. I mean, the guys in front of us were a hole and a bit in front, which was quite amazing. And I just felt like we were always just kind of struggling to make par or something like that, you know, because the pin locations were on, you know, all on the spines pretty much. That's what it felt like of the green. So when you try to lag a putt up there, if you didn't hit it stone dead, where you can tap it in, it was always going to either pull up short 3 feet or go past 3 feet. It was really difficult. And then when we got delayed, the whole course changed with regards to how receptive it was. And, you know, to be able to go out there and hit the driver as far as you can, knowing that the ball's not going to bounce off the fairways if it does, you know, be able to hit the fairways, get yourself on the greens and give yourself opportunities, because the greens are in phenomenal shape. So being able to shoot 66 today, I know that we're going to have some, you know, it's going to be hard work over the next 2 days because of how Hideki and Kevin are playing. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, how the weekend pans out with the weather. But hopefully we get some nice sunny weather over the next 2 days and we can, you know, finish strong.
We'll work on that. Let's hit the floors for some questions. Let's start with 4, then 2.
2 disjointed questions there. What was that little moment you had with Dustin coming up 18? And secondly, how much do you feel your confidence building?
Where I was hugging him?
You said it, yeah.
Yeah, I was hugging him. It was because because I was way right on, well, not way right, but I was on 17, I was off the green, and I said, we were walking up and he's like talking about like if we can get a tee shot on 18, we can finish the round. And DJ's like, I'll do it, you know, and I'm like, that's great. And I'm, you know, going in from 16, he lag putted, you know, from 50 feet away, he hit it to 20 feet. So I'm like, oh, just hopefully either holds it or hits it stone dead. And he did, and then he ran up there and teed off. As soon as he teed off, and, you know, we all kind of flushed it down 18, and I just walked up to him and I said, that's the biggest or the most clutch thing I've ever seen anyone do for me. So, you know, I had to give him a hug for it. And he was happy as well, you know, obviously to be able to finish and not have to wake up at 5:30 tomorrow, get some good rest, because it is hot out there, and it does take it out of you, even though you're waking up early. You don't feel like it does. But it really does, you know, to be able to get that extra sleep and relax a little bit, you know, in the afternoon. And it goes to, you know, for Henrik and Dustin as well. They wouldn't have that quick turnaround if they needed it. So what was the second question? You know, after a round today, it feels like it's growing. You know, obviously going and eagling 7 and having 3 birdies after that was nice. It was just unfortunate that we, you know, because I was actually in a rhythm and the momentum was going my way, and unfortunately we got, you know, called off, and I bogeyed the first hole coming back out after the delay. But to be honest, I felt like this is always, it's been slowly building. It was nice to be able to drive the way I did today to set myself up with the opportunities, and being able to capitalize on those opportunities felt even better, because there were the 2 things that were missing pretty much the whole year, is my driving and my putting, and, you know, being able to combine that today just felt like the old days, which is only last year. You know, so it just feels like it's been 10 years ago, because I have had a pretty poor year. So I'm very pleased to be where I'm at.
Way back when. Number 2, please.
Behind you there, Karen.
Oh, is that me? Okay. Jason, to be back in contention on a weekend,
yeah,
like in the old days of last year, is it like a bicycle you never forget, or are you going to have to battle anything anew? Is it in any ways fresh?
No, when you're in a position where you've done it before, you know that you've done it, and you know what you did to finish off strong, like what I did, back in 2015, and the way I finished in the PGA 2016. You know what you have to do to finish strong, but you still have to grind, and because every day you don't wake up the same every single day. Some days you wake up a little bit slower, and your body's not really reacting the way it is, and some days you wake up and you just, this morning I felt really everything felt like it was a lag today on the driving range. But in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to go out there and absolutely hit it as far as I can out there. I just know I've got a feeling. Whereas in the first day, had a tremendous warm up and felt strong and felt like I was hitting it hard, and I hit it decent, but I hit it further today than I did yesterday. So, going back on the previous experiences that I've had in the PGA, obviously different venues. I know that I can do it, but I just got to focus on just trying to control what I can do out there, which is obviously one shot at a time, which very cliche, but at the end of the day, that's 100% true when it comes down to being in contention. You got to just try and make sure you get the momentum rolling your way, and it happened to me, from 7 on today and 7 on, yesterday, coming home strong. So hopefully I can, take that into tomorrow's round.
4, please.
Jason, so how did you like playing speed golf? Take you back to any younger days where you're hustling around the course to finish up?
I do remember finishing in the dark a lot when I was a kid. Not thinking that it was going to be, I was running down the 18th hole at a major championship, but being able to, the great thing is that there's this big, massive screen on 18, which lit up the whole putting green. So it was like you're kind of playing under the lights, which was nice. So being out, I looked at it on the screen and it looked like we were playing in daylight. And I'm like, it was really dark out there. So being able to, and to be honest, we were kind of slow the whole day. And, we played really fast the last 2 holes. Thinking about it, if I went bogey, I'd be very devastated right now sitting here. But, at the end of the day, I finished strong with 2 pars. Just missed a birdie on 18. So very pleased with how I played today.
Let's go 4, then 3, please.
Jace, what impressed you most about yourself today?
I think that's hard because I know that it's always been there. I think the biggest thing for me is that my confidence level hasn't been as high as it should have been over this past year. With how I've putted, how I've driven the ball. Like I said earlier this week, putting is huge for me. It gives me a lot of confidence. If I'm putting well, then I feel like I can get into anywhere and get up and down from anywhere and it not affect me. And I haven't had the greatest putting year, and it's kind of affected me a little bit, and it's kind of trickled off into my other parts of my game. So that was there for the lack of confidence. And today, I was actually quite pleased because, you just trying to keep getting back to the, to what I did a couple of years ago. Is you just want to keep pushing forward. And I was, pushing forward there for a good while. I had a hiccup at 11, but, come back at 13 and 14, birdie those, just missed a birdie on 15. And they're the opportunities that you've got to just give yourself. And fortunately, I capitalized on them, and I'm in 3rd place right now. So I'm pretty happy with, where my mindset was at. Instead of worrying about where it's going or how I'm putting or, is my swing good, I was actually just focusing on what's the score. I need to get better and better and better. So I was happy about that.
All right, 2 more, and we've got to get him out of here. 3, please.
2 quick questions. Hideki mentioned that you sent him a message after his win last week. Can you share what that was?
Let me see. I got it down. Well, let me see. 1 second. No, it wasn't in Japanese, I can tell you. I said, congrats, mate. Unreal playing. See you next week. It's nothing special. Right. And then he has said, thank you, Jason. See you at Quail Hollow. But he did put my name in all caps, so that made it feel special. Yeah, he's been a good friend for a while now, and we played on a couple of Presidents Cup teams together. The language barrier is always kind of difficult, but his English is getting much better. Bob, his interpreter, is fantastic with it, so the guy deserves it. I mean, I was talking to Sean Foley today in the delay, and Hideki was sitting right next to me. I don't think he knew that I was talking about him, but I was. He was sitting right next to me, and I don't think he understood what I was saying. But it just looks like that guy right now has got his priorities set on playing good golf. Last week when he was winning that tournament, but even before he's winning that tournament, he's on the range and he's the last guy to leave. He's always putting. He's always doing something. He's working harder, and I feel like he's the hardest worker out here right now, just because he wants to win. And there's no surprise that he's, obviously won last week and he's up here again.
Follow up, I guess.
You might have just answered this, but what impresses you the most about Hideki particularly when he's playing the way he has been and so forth, then last year, this year?
Well, you know what? He's always been a phenomenal striker of the golf ball. I think everyone knows that. You look at his swing with that pause up the top. He comes through and takes one arm off the club, and you think it's going in the trees. It's 10 feet from the hole. It's quite impressive, because if I do that, it's definitely in the trees. But for him to realize that, one of his weaknesses was his putting, and being able to strengthen that to where it is right now, not only through what he's done, but through the sheer hard work that he's put in, that's very impressive. And that's why he's playing the way he is, because he always gives himself the opportunities because of how good he hits it. But to be able to change that weakness into a strength now is why that he's so dominating right now in this current period that he's in. So that's always been impressive to see that. And his mental game's actually, he's very strong. His mental game is very, very strong. You can just see that he doesn't get very high or low. He's not one of those. And I think that's just the Japanese mentality, is that they don't get very high or low. They're just very kind of even keel through the whole day, regardless of all the chaos that's going on around him. I think he's always been kind of pushed forward, and that's how he's always been.
All right, last question. Jeff, please, on the right one.
Carl was saying he saw some nice signs at Birkdale, nice signs at Akron, but it just all the pieces weren't quite there yet.
Yeah.
Why do you think it meshed together today and at this moment? And secondly, can one swing really ignite your confidence, like the shot into 7? What can that do confidence-wise?
I think it was several swings beforehand that really kind of ignited it. I mean, I hit a tremendous drive down 5. The wedge shot wasn't, actually the wedge shot was decent. It just bounced 20 yards over the green. But I think it was just leading up to that shot to 7, the tee shot was that put it over for me. Like I think I hit a 325 or 330 yard drive in the air over that bunker, and being able to hit 8-iron into that hole location, which is a very tough location to get at. I think I had all the confidence in the world from that drive. But there were signs coming from Royal Birkdale. There were signs coming from last week at Akron. Being able to piece it together is difficult because, like I said earlier, the driving and the putting has been lagging behind, but I've been working very, very, very hard. And I was in this current plateau of not really doing good in either, but I was just waiting for it to just jump up, which it did today. So hopefully, it'd be nice to be able to keep that going over the weekend. And I know I need to keep it going because of how good of the caliber players that are up and around the lead. I need to focus on, trying to do the same. So hopefully it works out.
Thanks, Jason Day. It's late. Let's get out of here.
Cheers.